Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry I took some time off. I was kind of busy, but I am back. So I recently put a question on my Instagram. So I asked you guys to ask me any question on my Instagram post, as you can see. And I got a lot of questions. There's one question which says, how do you retouch your images? Can you do a tutorial? So when it comes to photography, the first thing I make sure is I make sure my lighting is very soft. I use softbox. So this is the softbox that I use. You can see it's a Godox softbox. Yeah. Since I was doing a studio shoot, I used 3 setup lighting. And let me demonstrate to you how I arrange my lights. So this is how I arrange my lighting setup. I had a background, then I placed my subject here just away from the background so that it can give me a depth. Then I used a D600 Pro, which was my main key light on a softbox, and then I used a V-flat just to fill in the shadows. Then I used another speed light, which was my hair light, just to give me some separation to the hair. Then lastly I added a speed light, which was giving me ambient lighting, just simple feel to the subject. Yeah, so this was my lighting setup. First of all, I need to give a shout out to Vela. So you can go and follow Vela on Instagram. Tell her that I have sent you so that she won't block you or something. Okay, so the first thing usually I do is come to basic color correction. So this is just basic to give you a good image from what the camera sees, because this is what came straight from the camera. So for this image, I'll start with the white balance, which I need to give it a daylight look. I'll leave the tint on 6. Just edit according to what you feel like. So for me, I'll just add a simple exposure. I don't want to drift away from what I had shot. And also I usually come to lens correction and then check these two to remove any achromatic abbreviation from the image. So I kind of like the outlook of the image from the before. The next thing is to do a light retouch to the image. So I usually go to the face and select my spot removal. This one is just to remove the pimples or any big marks or whatever you don't want to see on your skin. One thing you need to know is avoid removing birthmarks, because that is the identity of that person and you wouldn't want them to change unless they tell you to remove. Now that I am done, I usually go to Photoshop. So I right click, editing, Photoshop 2020. So here is my image in Photoshop. One thing I need to do is I right click, then I put the background on light gray, since it is the middle between black and white. So I usually put on light gray so that it doesn't affect the outlook of my image. So now when I'm in Photoshop, I usually do retouching. So here is where I do the skin retouching. As you can see, the skin is not that perfect. So we want to do some light retouching. To make my workflow very fast, because I have to edit a lot of images, I usually have an action for skin retouching. So if you are very new on skin retouching, you can just use this action right away, but you need to know the basic, like high pass. You need to know what high pass does, or you need to learn on frequency separation so that you can retouch your skin very well. But since I know all those and I have created an action for that, so I usually just use my action. So each image usually have different settings. If you look here, it creates for you the necessary layers that you need to do the retouching. Then after that, you come to your brush tool. I need to increase my brush tool here. So here is where I focus on the skin. You need to know how your lighting goes so that you brush according to your lighting. You don't need to brush against your light. You should brush according to how your lighting was set up. So that's it. As you can see, she now looks prettier. This is the before and this is the after. This is the before. Let me zoom in. And this is the after. So now the skin is somehow smooth and I really like it. So I usually don't use like 100% opacity. I usually tone it down to where it looks natural, so someone can never know that the photo has been retouched. So around 78% looks natural. So the next thing is I'm going to fix any patches that I'm seeing or anything that I've missed out. I'm going to use spot healing tool. So I scout for anything, for any imperfections. Yeah. So I like how it looks like. She is now prettier. So my next stage is usually sharpening. I also have action that usually does that. So sharpening usually makes your image to have a lot of details. So you can increase, as you increase it, it will become distorted and obvious that has been sharpened. So I usually put it around 1.5 pixels, which is usually nice and good for my eyes. As you can see now, the photo is now sharp and my model looks awesome. So I hope you've learned something new. You need to practice so that you improve your skills. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and follow me on Instagram. And remember, make it happen.